Hi again. Straight off the back of the Bitcoin charting video, I just wanted to do the charting video for TAO, T-A-O. I don't know what that stands for, but it is the second coin that I've been trading, Bitcoin and TAO. I find that these are the two that have been reacting the way that I expect based on my trend lines. So yeah, I just wanted to show everybody how I would chart this from scratch. I'll start with the longer time frames, go to shorter time frames, just so we can see the probably the more valid trend lines being the ones on a daily that'll have the more pressure behind them, and then the 15 all the way down to the 15 minutes, which will have the shorter trades. I've already posted the Bitcoin charting video. This is the second one. I normally only trade these two coins, but I'm going to do a charting video on Ripple next, and then Link, Cardano, which is ADA, and Solana. These are well-known coins, and I just want to chart them up. I won't be trading them straight away, but I just want to chart them up, and because they are well-known ones, they should be a bit less volatile, and hopefully they react the way that I expect. And if they do, it opens me up to new entries in the future. If not, I'll stick to Bitcoin and TAO. We don't need to have 50 entries a day. We just need to have a good entry every now and then. All right, but let's get started. We're on the daily time frame on TAO. Simple trend lines. And not too complicated. Basically, we're looking at whatever has the most points of contact. It's probably a good idea on the larger time frames to even include these wicks. So I'll do one there, but I'll start from the same point and see if I can find, yeah, like if we go there, if I did this one on the lower wick and saw that it had points of contact with these, it might make it a bit more valid, because the more points of contact is showing that there's actual resistance. I might just quickly delete that one. And this would be the one that I expect to be reactive on the longer time frames. Now, from this one, I'm just going to put that there. We've got a couple of reactions from it, but as we go to the shorter time frames, like I'll do the 4 hour next, we should be able to tidy it up a bit. This could be like, it's a wick on the daily, but each of these candles is a whole day. So that wick on the daily could actually be the close of a candle on a 4 hour. And we'll see if there's a bit more validity in the lower time frames. So that's what we've got on the daily. And that's pretty straightforward as well. We've got a few points of contact along there. What I'd actually do is put on that second one. This actually looks like it could be ready for a trade shortly. We've got the point of contact there on a wick, there as like actual close of candles and open of candles. Had the reactions up to this one. It looks like it's trading in a candle. Sorry, not in a candle. It's trading on a triangle pattern, like a flag, on the larger time frames. And then, yeah, and then basically like a larger, not even a flag, it's just got a line of resistance there. There's no support established underneath. We could technically do something like this, but I'd be very wary about that. So I can leave that there. Before I put any trades in, before I enter a position, I'm always going to have a look at the reasoning that I've got behind it. So I'll put that there just for future reference, but when it does come back down to that area, I might decide that it's not valid enough to place a trade, and that's perfectly fine. We'll just wait for new structure and do a trade on that. So that's on the daily. A couple of triangle sort of patterns there. This is what we're going to be interested in, because it does look like it's hitting that point there shortly. So let's go into the 4 hour and start tidying it up. So the first part that I mentioned before was looking at this peak here to see if it is just wicks or, sorry about it all, zooming around. It's actually a couple of wicks there, so it makes it a bit more valid. It's gone up, had a reaction, gone up again, had a reaction, and then you can see that on the next reaction, it's big reaction. So that line there looks fine. The line that I've got from the peak there going to these areas, I wish I could do this a bit smoother. There's been a large green candle up, so it's shot up, it's hit an area and dropped back down. Now, when we go to 1 hour, we might get a bit more insight into what happened here, but to me it looks like it's gone up, hit it, come back down. During that time, it's changed to the next candle, dropped all the way down, had even more buying pressure, because a lot of the time what happens in the big candles is it misses a lot of buy orders. So there's been selling pressure up here, it's gone back down, picked up all the buy orders that were missed in the quick spike, gone back up, hit that sell area and come back down, retested it again. So a lot of buyers come in, hit that area, and it was just overwhelmed by sellers, and it's dropped pretty dramatically there. So it looks like that area is a valid sell area, and I might actually bring that line down a bit there. And yeah, so looking at this area, I'd probably bring it up a touch for that reaction, that reaction. You can see that it pushed down pretty hard there and it sort of stopped, traveled along sideways before it had a big reaction there. So I'm going to actually tidy up these lines. I'll move this slightly up. It's hard to tell when it's zoomed out like that. And that sort of thing probably doesn't make a huge amount of difference. People are going to be looking at entries around the line anyway. It's not given that having the line there means that it will react there. And I'll bring that down to be more in this sell area. And it's got another touch on there. It would have been interesting if this area as well touched. But let's have a look what happened. So we'll go to the 1 hour, and we're just doing the same thing over and over again. We're just looking for new structure on the smaller time frames. So I was just looking at that area there to see what sort of happened. It's gone up. This part here we can see shot up, hit that area, had a big reaction, come back down. This part's interesting that it has gone above. Normally a lot of the time if there's a breakout, it'll come back down and retest and then go back up. We can see here that it shot up through that area and then shot straight back down within a couple of hours. So yeah, it doesn't look like it looks like that could have been a few really large orders that have pushed it up, and then the market said, well, no, that's not where it's meant to be. Or the selling pressure on here, even though the buyers are trying to make it go up, there's still a lot of sell pressure around that area to keep it down, and then it's dropped. Interesting here, you can actually see that it's reacted to the 200 EMA, which is the purple line, gone back up, but again, too much pressure, it's come back down. I don't think there's really much to clean up on that 1 hour, but the next interesting thing, the 15-minute normally makes everything look a bit different and gives insight to a bit more structure. In the Bitcoin video, you can see that, like the Bitcoin charting video that was uploaded before this, you can actually see that when we zoomed into the 15-minute, it made it very obvious that was another triangle, like flag structure. That wasn't as visible on the larger, like the 4 hour time frames. this, realistically we could do a trend line like that to look for pressure around here, look for resistance, I should say. Sorry, what I was looking at, I was just trying to go back a bit to see the touches on the previous line. But here I'd probably be looking at reactions for a long. So it's come down. The indicators down here are showing that like it's a strong buy area. This is about to cross over, which is normally a good indicator for a buy. Sometimes these can work out really well, other times not. I try not to pay them too much of attention, just rather go by the trend lines. But especially on a 15-minute, it's not really that valid. I'd rather look at reactions around trend lines. These just don't really have enough weight behind them to make proper judgment. So what I'm doing here, I'm just creating a couple of lines above the support and below the resistance. So that way if it comes into this, it'll alert me before it hits the line. And so I can go to the gym, I can go do whatever I need to do. I'll get an alert on the phone to say it's crossing that line. I can open it up and see if it's a valid opportunity for a long, or if it comes up here, like say I do place a long and it reacts and it goes up. When it hits that line, it's basically a good opportunity for me to look at selling the position and taking a short instead. And I've been pretty successful in the past, especially with TAO, with these triangle patterns. I mentioned in the Bitcoin video that Bitcoin goes more in channels. From what I've noticed in the past, with TAO, I've had quite a bit of success buying at the bottom after a reaction, wait until it's all the way at the top of that triangle structure to sell, and then look for a new reaction for a new opportunity for a short. Again, wait for it to come back down the bottom, get out of that position, look for an opportunity for a long, and just trade it back and forward. That's been quite successful. So that's on the 15-minute. Now that we've got the lines for the longer ones, I will do the exact same on these. I'll create an alert before the resistance. And actually this, oh no, what did I do? This line here is actually the trend line for the daily and the 4 hour. So if it does come back down to this line, that should actually be a very valid alert to look for a opportunity for a long. It should be a good reaction because it's come back down to that longer time frame and it's not just trading on 15 minutes. Now the interesting thing here is I mentioned the indicators before, how on the 15-minute it's in a buy area. Well, when I say a buy area, it just means that it's oversold. And these averages are about to cross here, which is a good sign. On the 15-minute, not really that valid. Things change pretty quickly. But just then when I zoomed out to the 4 hour to put those alerts, we can see pretty much the exact same thing. Even on the longer time frames, it's oversold. There should be buyers coming in to normalize the price. When it does that, the shorter term average will start rising longer than the longer term average, and it will create that crossover, similar to what we can see in these areas, to take that into the green. and doesn't really look that valid on the daily, but yeah, that's why we keep an eye on it. Oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah, that was the longer time frame. This was the one that may or may not be valid. All right. There's not too much to it. It's literally just a bunch of lines to show where things should react. One thing that I'll keep bringing up is the more simple that we do it, the more chance that we've got other people looking at the same thing. If we keep it simple and other people are keeping it simple, we're going to have more eyes on the same opportunities. So if we see a trend line that should offer support, millions of other people should also be seeing a trend line that should have support. When it hits that trend line, people will place long orders, and that's actually what's creating the buy pressure. So if we do try to get too in depth and have all these strategies that no one else knows about, it's not really going to work out as well, because if we're the only one that knows about, the buying opportunity, there's not really going to be that much buying pressure because we're the only one that knows about it. But yeah, if you do have any questions, if you think that I did something wrong here, I'm still learning. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional trader. I'm not a professional YouTuber. If there's anything that you want to see, anything that you want to tell me, please let me know in the comments, and I'm going to continue doing these and try to get these better and better. So like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Follow the journey. And I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. All right, see ya.